Greetings, this is Marc T, and I want to welcome you to Kickstart Your Life, our exciting new radio broadcast that is designed to help you live life and live it abundantly. So we're excited to be back with you. We have been sharing with you, if you've been tuning in with us, we have been sharing with you our 21 power steps to a better me. 21 power steps to a better me. This allows you to help kickstart your life. And so today I'm going to pick up on our next power step, which is power step number 3. But before I get into that, I want to encourage you to drop me an email at Marc, M-A-R-C-T, period, M-A-Y, at gmail.com. That's Marc, M-A-R-C-T, May, at gmail.com. Send us your questions, your comments. Maybe your question will be answered on one of our broadcasts. And so I'm excited about what's happening, man. I want to help you to kickstart your life, to live the abundant life, to live life in its fullest, to enjoy life. And so we started out and we dealt with 2 points already, 2 of our power steps. Power step number 1, if you remember, is the power of choice. The power of choice is power step number 1. Power step number 2 was the power of change. The power of change. And so here we are now. We're getting ready to go into power step number 3. Power step number 3 is the power of movement. Power step number 3. It is the power of movement. And so as we begin to look at what it is about the power of movement. Now, let's just kind of digress just a little bit and let's look up the word power so we can make sure we're all here on the same page. Maybe you're tuning in for the first time. If you're listening to us, you can always go back and you can get some of our previous episodes. And what I'm excited about is that, hey, you can upload them to any one of your devices, your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, your laptop, and you have access to this on demand when you need it, when you need some inspiration, when you need some motivation. It's right there for you. Power, defined as the ability to do or to act, the capability of doing or accomplishing. And so when we're talking about the power of movement, means that you have the ability to do, the ability to act, the ability to move, the ability to put movement into action, the capability of doing or accomplishing through movement. Now, why would I say, or why would I feel that the power of movement is very important? Well, as you plot out your course, your strategy, your life, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in some other episodes. But as you begin to plot out your plan, your strategy, whatever it is that you're doing, it is very important that you keep moving. Again, the power of movement. There's an old saying that says this: it's harder to hit a moving target. So you have to keep moving. What do I mean by that? There are always people, well, let's put it this way. Hey, there's always haters. There's always somebody that wants to stop you. There's always dream killers. There's always somebody that's saying that you can't do it. There's always somebody that's going to say it doesn't take all of that. There's always somebody who doesn't see things the way that you see them. So you keep moving. As long as you're moving, come on, it's hard for them to hit you with their negativity because you are now a moving target. So the power of movement, I want to tell you that that the momentum is key. Okay? The power of movement, momentum is key. Now, momentum is defined as this: force or speed of movement. Force or speed of movement. So the force of your movement, the force of your advancement, the force of you what? Moving forward, the speed of movement, the impetus as a physical object or course of event, momentum. Momentum. Your momentum throws you in a certain direction. And so here we're talking about your momentum is pushing you forward. So momentum is key. So you have to know how to work with the momentum that you are creating as you are putting all the pieces together to kickstart your life. So let's look at a few points that I want to bring out. We'll elaborate on some of these. Here we go. So when you create momentum, you need to understand or learn to ride the momentum. Okay, I'm going to get back to that. So number one, we got 3 points. I mentioned one already, but let me repeat it. Momentum is key. All right, momentum is key. A key is something that gives you access, that grants you access. So you have to understand that your momentum being a key part of what you're doing will grant you or give you access to avenues, to areas, to arenas, to places that you have not yet had access to. So your momentum is a key. And so when you learn to ride the momentum, to go with the momentum, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. When you develop and create a momentum, and people see that you're moving and you're moving forward, you have to remember to do what you do. Do what you do. Not what everyone else wants you to do. What do you mean by that? What am I saying? What I'm saying is that when you begin to achieve a certain amount of success and you're successful in a particular area. When you become successful in a particular area, people see your success and then they want to take your success and use it in other areas. But this may be an area where you're not gifted in. But because you're successful in this area, they want to try to take you and put you over here in another area. So you have to do what you do. You have to stay focused. Stay in the lane in which you're in. Stay in the lane which your measure of gifting allows you to be successful in. Don't get people pulling you here and there. You've got to stay in the lane in which you are successful. So do what you do, not what everyone else wants you to do. All right. So number two. Let me see. I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Number two. Keep moving towards your goals. Number two, keep moving towards your goal. Keep moving. Along the way, as we try to achieve goals, levels of success, things that we have set out before us, the plan that we have put in place, we have to keep moving towards our goals. In other words, there are things that may come up. There may be life happens. Things come up in life. There are things that will come up to slow you down, to hinder you, to stop you. But you have to make it up in your mind that you are not going to be stopped by the circumstances of life. things come up. Let's just throw this out here for an example. Say education. You're going to school, pursuing your education. You fall in love, get married, have a baby. Now there has been a disruption in the movement towards your goal. So now you have to make some choices. You have to make some decisions. But you can keep moving through your goals. Hey, it may be a little tougher, but you keep moving towards your goals. A man wants to provide for his family, so he said, look, man, I got to work. I'm going to have to work 2 jobs. There is still a way to keep moving towards your goals. So you must sit down and figure out how you can make this happen. Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. In prayer, ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom so that you know what it is that you need to do. So keep moving forward towards your goal. There should always be forward motion, that you're moving towards what it is that you plan on doing. If it's starting a business, you're moving towards starting the business. If you want to grow your business, you're moving towards growing your business. If you want to add another product, if you are a inventor, if you want to a plan to invent something else or to improve a current product, you keep moving forward towards that. Don't let things stop you. I was thinking, I was at commencement service at my daughter's graduation, my daughter Tia, when she graduated, and the speaker began to tell a story about 2 bishops who were having a conversation, and I believe they were talking about dreams and dreaming, and talking about how about achieving dreams, and talking about this many years ago in the late 1800s about how things that have been invented and the innovations that have come, and it always seems in every generation that everything that could be invented has already been invented. But there's always that innovator. There's always that inventor that is there. And so I don't remember the name of the 2 bishops. I remember the name of one. And let's say one, his name was Bishop Jones, and the other one's name was Bishop Wright. And they had a conversation, and in the conversation, I believe the story kind of went like this, that they began to talk about, innovations and inventions and things of that nature. And then they started talking about the day that, would come where man would be able to fly. And Bishop Wright shot it down and basically said, man, if God meant for man to fly, man would have been born with wings. But little did he know with the statement that he made that this man, Bishop Wright, was the father of Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers, who invented the airplane. You can't let anything stop you. Even if your relatives don't believe in you, you keep moving forward. People look at something and see, hey, this can't be done. But you have to remember that you have a unique mind all within yourself. And within your unique mind, you may see something that nobody else sees. And because that no one else sees it does not mean that it cannot be done. Because no one else sees it does not mean that it cannot happen. If no one else sees it, no one else understands it, it doesn't mean that it cannot be done, because you have your own, again, unique mind. And within the corridors of your unique mind, there is something that you see that nobody else sees. There's a creative ability, a God-given creative ability that is in your mind. And if you are seeing it, if you move forward towards it, you can make it happen. You can bring this that's in your mind into manifestation. Whether those that surround you believe it or not. All right, that was number 2. Keep moving towards your goals. Number 3. And I alluded to this earlier, but let's elaborate on it now. Learn to ride the wave of momentum. Learn to ride the wave of momentum. Learn to ride the wave of momentum. When you have the momentum, when you are moving forward, when you have that force and that speed of movement going with you, you have to learn to ride that momentum. And in riding, in learning to ride that wave of momentum, you also have to recognize the waves of opportunity that come your way. You must recognize the waves of opportunity that come your way. There's a quote, and I don't remember who said this, but it says that the opportunity of the moment must be seized in the moment of the opportunity. The opportunity of the moment must be seized in the moment of the opportunity. So you must recognize the waves of opportunity that come your way. And so when I think about riding the wave of momentum, there are a few people who come to mind. And one of the ones that comes to mind is Bishop T.D. Jakes. And I remember years ago when I lived in Detroit, and I remember Bishop Jakes came to town, and my wife went to see him minister, and she went to one of the first woman Thou Art Loose conferences, I guess, that was outside that time of his home state at that time of West Virginia. And so when I say I think about Bishop Jakes in this matter, because I look at as the momentum of his ministry began to build. In my eyes, I could see how he was riding the wave of momentum and recognizing the waves of opportunity, that came up as he was riding. Okay, so now you have a popular conference. Okay, you go from a women's conference to a men's conference. Come on, television. From television to books. All right. So you see that there was a wave of momentum that is building. Then you go from books to movies. Movies and plays, and from plays and movies to becoming a talk show host. So he rode the momentum. And while that momentum is going on, that the opportunities of the moment were seized in the moment of the opportunities. Another person I think about Tyler Perry. He started with plays. He moved on to television. And he didn't do things the way that they did them in Hollywood, because he didn't come up out of Hollywood. So he did them the way that it was in his mind. And it worked for him when other people said it would not work. And so he took that wave, that momentum, and he began to ride that momentum. And so he went from successful plays, to successful movies, to successful television, to successful movies. Now he's in a successful venture with Oprah Winfrey and the OWN network. So when I'm talking about riding a wave of momentum is this, and I guess I hope I am articulating this correctly. What I want you to see is that when these opportunities avail themselves, and I'm saying they're going with the momentum. In other words, while the iron is hot, they're striking. While the iron is hot, it's striking. Because you may be hot for a year, you may be hot for 2 years, you may be hot for 5 years. Hey, you may be hot for 10 years, but sometimes or somewhere the fire may die down. Somewhere, somehow, maybe the momentum will slow down. And so while you have the momentum, you act. You move with the momentum. All right, let me give you one more example. Another example. To me right now, the hardest working man in show business, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey started, as a stand-up comic. Had an opportunity for television. Then he went on and produced his own national radio show. Has written 2 best-selling books. He turned one of the books into a top movie. Then he hosted a television game show, Family Feud. Then he has this new talk show. And somebody said, man, why would he want to be trying to do all that stuff at the same time? Momentum. You've got to go with the momentum. You've got to ride the momentum. While that momentum has the force and the speed going in that season, you've got to ride it. You've got to take advantage of the opportunity of the moment in the moment of the opportunity. You can't let the spirit of opportunity pass you by. You've got to move forward. Listen, let me throw this in here, and I don't know if I talked about this already, but I'm sure that somewhere along the line in all of this stuff that they're doing, that there was elements of fear that came up. See, fear is the enemy of your future. Fear is the enemy of your future. I'm sure fear came up and said, look, you can't do that. You're just a stand-up comedian. I'm sure fear came up and said, look, you can't do that. You're just a preacher. I'm sure fear came up and said, you can't do that. You're just a playwright. You can't get into Hollywood. Fear is an enemy of your future. And you have to stand up to fear and know that what's inside of you, your determination, your desire is greater than every fear that comes up against you. Now, what I want you to recognize is this. The more that fear rises up against you, you've got to know deep down on the inside, the closer you're getting to your future. that this is what you should be doing. This is something that I should be doing. Why? Because fear is trying to stop you. Fear is trying to stop you. When I decided and had the idea that I wanted to do this new radio broadcast, Kickstart Your Life, when I started thinking about how I want to inspire and motivate people in a different way, all this stuff will start rising up against me saying, hey, you can't do that. You're a preacher. You're not an inspirational speaker. You're not a motivational speaker. Whatever. Oh, you're a sellout. You can't do that. All your colleagues, all your peers are going to say you're a sellout. So when it rises up against you, especially in a great magnitude, you know that you're on the right track. You know that you are on the right course. I mean, I could see some people right now getting excited about what I'm saying. Let fear be the indicator that you're on the right path. Let fear be the indicator that you are navigating your life in the proper direction. So do not succumb to the elements of fear that's trying to rise up against you, but stand strong and know that fear is working in your life, come on, like a compass, pointing you in the right direction. And I hope somebody is getting this today. I hope somebody is getting this today. I hope somebody is getting this today. Now, let me just review real quick. We're fastly approaching the end of this segment. Number one, momentum is key. Number two, keep moving towards your goals. Always have forward activity. Number three, learn to ride the momentum. So as you're setting you're sitting down and you're setting your things in order, you're strategizing, you're planning, whatever it is that you're doing, begin to set benchmarks for yourself. That by such and such a time, I'm going to have this done. And by such and such a time, I'm going to have that done. Set benchmarks, set deadlines for yourself. I want you to stay positive. Surround yourself with positive people. Stay in a positive environment. Stay focused on what it is you got your mind set on. Stay focused on it. Don't let anybody sidetrack you from what it is that you're trying to accomplish. All right, that's the power of movement. I hope power step number 3 has influenced you to move forward, influenced you to keep it moving. Basically, what I'm telling you is to keep it moving. Don't stop. Don't get stuck. Don't get stagnated. Don't let people pull you off course from where you're going. Remember the power of movement. I hope you can use that. Power step number 3, the power of movement to kickstarting your life. 21 power steps to a better me. If you take and apply these steps in your life, I'm sure there's going to be a better you. Well, thank you for listening to the broadcast today. I'm your host, Marc T. May. This is Kickstart Your Life. I want you to remember you can contact me, Marc, M-A-R-C-T, May, M-A-Y, @gmail.com, Marc T. May @gmail.com. And be looking for our next upcoming broadcast. We got some more steps that we're going to take you through. We have some special guests that I'm going to bring on, and I'm going to be interviewing them, and they're going to share some nuggets that's going to help kickstart your life. So thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. Spread the word. Hey, share it on Facebook. Send out a tweet. Put it on Instagram. Whichever way you communicate, whichever social form of social media that you use, hey, put us on there and spread the good news around. Thank you so much. Again, this is Kickstart Your Life, and I'm your host, Marc T.